Good morning. A little bit of a cool one it is, but it's not bad considering we're into October. Our temperatures are still up around 12, 13 degrees Celsius. We have to do some harvesting today. Our peppers are mostly ripe. A handful of them have gotten a bit soft. So it's time for us to start clearing them out now. So we're going to take what we can out of there today. It should be a good harvest. All right, we're going to start off right here. Start snipping these couple small ones here. Our days are getting short. We have no lights in the greenhouse. And the peppers are starting to find the cold a little bit at night. I do put the heater on. But lots of times, I have my heater set right now to drop down to, I think it's about 8 degrees when I get my notification that I need the heat. I haven't automated the starting of it, simply because it's a Chinese thing, and it's most times it does start when it's supposed to, but every now and then it doesn't, and I have to start it a second time. A cute little red one there, but he's starting to get soft on the bottom. Now I'm going to chop some of these off as well as I'm going, just so they'll be out of my way. We'll have lots of peppers after this. The carpenter on that one. There he goes. That's a nice big green one though, isn't it? Looks like it was just barely starting to turn. A lot of peppers in through here. Oh, this one here is starting to go bad. Yeah. So you can see there it's going bad. That's an insect that's on those. You can see here something's been eating them. That one's going to get put over to one side there. That's garbage. Don't want it in with the rest. This one back here is much the same. I can see where there's holes down through the top of it and through the bottom actually. So there's insects getting back there. Oh, I got a yellow one in here. A small green one here too. Oops, he's no good though. He's got a big hole right through the side of it. So the insects have gotten into that one. What else do we have here? We got a little one in here. That one's pretty small. I don't know. I guess we'll use it for something. Some nice big peppers there yet. A crazy looking orange one in here. Odd shape, but it's good and firm. I'm going to leave those couple green ones there. A lot of yellow ones down here. We're going to get these off and see if these couple green ones here will start to turn for us. That one there's got nothing left on it. We'll snip that one. Come back here, there's nothing left on that one. I'm snipping these now so that they will stop taking the amount of nutrient that they have been taking. I have noticed the watering of nutrients has slowed right down. So by getting rid of the plants that aren't producing anymore, the nutrients will last that much longer. There we are. So a lot of nice peppers here. We're going to have our bowl full. Oh, this one down here is gone. Yeah, so the insects really got into that one. We're going to lose a few to insects every year. You just can't keep them away. But when you consider what we get for our crop, it's not bad if that's all we lose. This little red one there. Oh, we have a big red one in the back here. I didn't see that one before. It's a nice one. A nice red one there. Let's get some of these in the back here. There we go. I'll take that one. My hands aren't big enough to hold on to them and grab onto other ones and keep picking. Here we are. That one. Look at this little guy. A bit of green and orange there. Didn't get a lot of orange ones this year, though. There's a red one there. Let me get these out of my hand. Red one there that's not finished turning. It's a green and black and red, everything together. And I'll leave those few red ones there. I have an orange one back here. Not sure what it's like. Let's have a closer look here. Okay, it's good. It's not hardly turned. Good and firm. We got a couple orange ones down here. These are smaller, but they're good nonetheless. Not sure what the deal is with this guy. It's a green one, but it's getting huge, and it doesn't seem to be turning. So there's our pepper harvest. That's the final one, other than a few strays that are here. Now that we have our peppers mostly harvested, let's go after some of these tomatoes. We're going to harvest as many good ones as we can here. I've been picking a few for meals and that over the past week, but I haven't been harvesting a lot of tomatoes. So we're going to take a lot of these off now. Tomatoes like this one that aren't hardly red yet, they'll continue to ripen in the house. So they'll just be left a little bit longer before we process them. Look at this guy. Beautiful tomato. I've been keeping the temperature up in here. I have 2 alarms set. One, which will go off at 8 degrees Celsius. This is an alarm that's in the house. And if the temperature goes to 8 degrees, I'll get a notification, and at that time I remotely start my heater. Every now and then, that heater won't start. Could be because it's out of fuel, but though it's quite reliable, there are a few times that it sort of floods itself out. So, if the heater doesn't start, then the temperature in here will continue to drop, and at around 5 degrees Celsius, I will get another alert. That's more like an emergency warning that I better get some heat on. So at that time, I usually would come out and deal with it. I haven't had to do that any more than once or twice this year. So that's what I have in place there now, but I don't like the temperature dropping down like that on the tomatoes, especially. It drops down and then it comes back up to about 15 or 16 degrees. A lot of small tomatoes ready there today. Like I was saying though, I haven't been harvesting many tomatoes lately. Been so busy with so many other things. Whoop! Starting to drop them now. Nice tomatoes though. I'm just starting to break open there. Those can do another bit of growing. We got one or two here that we can pick. And you know, I think that's all I'm going to pick there right now. Let's have a quick looking through. A few red ones over there, but they're still very small. I'm going to give them a chance to grow another bit. Hopefully we'll get more nutrients up to these green ones around the top here now. And we'll get those to grow a bit more and to turn. They're starting to turn up here in places. Still quite a few. These here are just starting to take on a little bit of an orange tinge. Once they get to that point, I understand they will continue to change on their own, even if they're picked. But the ones that are still just a light color green, from what I understand, they may not turn if they're picked. But once they start, I think they will continue. We're going to leave them on the vine there and let those continue to grow and turn. Hopefully we'll get another good harvest in a week or so. This is what we have today. A nice bowl full of tomatoes. Now that we've harvested our tomatoes and our peppers, we're going to take a run out and check the garden. A few days ago, my wife and I decided that it was time to take up the potatoes. Between the carpenters, the earwigs, and the wireworms, we were concerned about them. So I'm going to pop over to that video now, and you'll see us harvesting the potatoes. When we come back, we'll be out in the garden, and we're just going to check on things quickly before coming back in here. Listen to the potatoes. Listen to them. They're giggling. They know they're coming up today. It's that time. After thinking about it, between the wireworms and the cold weather, time constraints, yeah, they're coming up. And I think because of the wireworms, they're looking forward to it. So let's start here. Now the spot right there, that's where I dug them up before. I'm just going to root that with this one. Let's see if there's anything left there. Yeah, there's a couple small ones left there. And I'll come across this way here. This is the Russet Burbank potatoes we have here. These potatoes have a little bit more of a scaly type of skin. It's tougher. The insects seem to dislike it more. So look, there's no wormholes at all in these. So
you said got a little bit of scale on them.
They're going to have a bit of scab. I think that's the acidity in the ground was causing that. But they're not bad. These potatoes, so they're a little bit rough because they're the Russet Burbank, which is a rougher potato. They're not bad. They're smaller potatoes, but we had such a dry summer, that's what we expect.
That's a good one, huh?
That is a nice potato, very nice. Yeah. Start hauling some of this ground over this way now. Oh, look. Nice ones here. Look at these. They're nice potatoes. They're a comfortable size. Now we're not going all the way to the bottom of this bed. I was looking at my diagrams, and the last 3 rows in each of these beds are Irish cobblers. So we'll take up all of the russet Burbank ones first, and then we'll probably switch to another container or something, just so we can keep them separated a little bit more, and that way we can compare them better. I can't say that I wasn't concerned. I didn't know if we were going to get enough good potatoes for the cellar. The russet Burbanks are obviously a better choice when you have the wireworm on the go. I did read that they were a tougher skin, so the insects like them less. They can't get into them the same. But of course it all depends on what you're going to use your potatoes for too. Some potatoes are better for mashing, where others are better for salads. It is nice to see some of these everyday worms here though. First, when this soil was put here, there was nothing in it, not an insect anywhere. And after the first year, when we had a little bit of manure going through it, we grew a few vegetables in it, and that these worms started showing up. And it's really nice to see that the soil is rich enough now to support them, because they help to enrich the soil big time. So we're going to go a little bit further, and right in there, look, all right, we're going to go a little bit further, and then we're going to have a look at the potato, because I think we're going to see that the texture is going to change as we get into the Irish cobblers. I think we're just about to them now. These here are still russets. You can see the rough skin on them. And that one there, that looks like an Irish cobbler. Much whiter potato. Skin is a bit smoother. That would be about right. I think I had 3 rows in the bottom of each bed that were Irish cobblers. Let me get another tub, and then we'll move over here.
Okay.
And we'll harvest the Norlands.
Norlands.
That's Norlands over there. So we figure we probably got about 20 pounds of our russet Burbank. Now let's dig into our Norlands. Hopefully they'll be in just as good a shape as the last ones there. So in this one right here, we look very closely right there. It's a baby wireworm there now. Now, a good friend of mine told me that one of the things I could do to help to prevent the wireworms from getting my crop is to pick them earlier. And I guess this is why, because right now they seem to be multiplying, and we're getting more damage from the small ones as well. So soon there'll be a lot more larger ones there. These potatoes are a lot more plentiful.
They're pretty good, actually.
Small as expected. But you know, the small ones, if they're not damaged, they can be cooked just like they are, and they're fantastic. This will be the year of the small potatoes. And in this area, it's also known as the year of the forest fires. A lot of homes lost this year. Tragedy in many areas from the fires. Such a dry year. Very nice size though.
Yeah.
And I see a couple of holes from the wire worms, but not too bad.
That's worms.
Worms are good. They help the soil. They help to break it down, and as long as it's not the wire worms. What a beautiful potato. Look at this one.
Yeah. See?
They're nice. They're nice potatoes. Let's bring them over here. The dry weather this year, it did have some benefits. It seemed to help to avoid blight coming in. I didn't see much blight on any of the potato plants. Let's have a closer look here at this one. Brush more of the dirt off. Very nice potato. I don't see any damage from the worms. I don't see any scab. Very tiny bit of scab there, not much. Very nice potatoes. It's a better harvest than I thought it was going to be. So this soil for next year, we're going to do a number of things to try to improve it. We're planning on putting more sand in it. Though it's not proven that I know of, I understand that wire worms have trouble getting traction to crawl through sandy soil. So we're going to try to make it more difficult for them there. We're also going to be adding more manure to our soil because we saw, mostly on the Irish cobbler potatoes the other day, that there was a lot of scab. And I understand that having manure on them will, assuming it's mature manure, not fresh stuff, it will help to increase the acidity, which helps to get rid of the scab. I was also told, and I'm going by things I'm told here usually because other people have a lot more knowledge than I do with this, and this is how we learn. So I'm told that some people put salt on top of the ground in the fall, and that salt goes down through the ground over the winter and helps to drive the wire worms or keep them at bay so that they don't want to be in that soil. So we're going to try a number of things and see if we can't increase our productivity next year. Now the other thing I've thought about several times, and I was going to do it this year, but I never had time, though it would have been an ideal year for it. I do have some irrigation tubing, which, depending on what kind of season it looks like we're going to have next year, may put in place to do some automated watering. This year was very dry, and though initially I did not water the potatoes, they're so natural, I just let them grow natural. After we got through part of the summer and I saw that the plants were definitely suffering, I did water them every second evening and then every evening. So we may do some automated watering here next year. You know, I can't help but think that as we got into growing our own vegetables and our fruit, there's a lot of people who are wondering if this is the right way to go. And I think most people realize it is. Well, just recently, I noticed we've got an election coming up, and one of the parties has stated that for farms, they're going to provide additional funding, but also, and I picked up on this one, they're looking at $750 for individuals who want to get into hydroponics or want to grow their own food. I think that's fantastic. That's the way we need to be going. And it's taking us back toward basics. And I think anybody who's, I'll say, 50 and over anyway, who have been around when we did have basics, know that basics is something we need more of right now. So I hope to see in the future more people getting into this, because it's really being recognized as the right thing to do. A couple nice ones there, look. Now, right here. See if we can get this in the sunlight where we can see it. Right there by my thumb. Do you see that little worm there? Look, you can see him squirming. That's a wireworm. Finding these small wireworms, I think, is a clear indication that we're harvesting at the right time. If we had waited longer, we may have more damage, like I was told. So, timing may be good here for us. Don't know if any of you have noticed. No, this is not a promotion for Walmart. But we have found, when we built our greenhouse, and we're talking about doing everything in soil, we bought a couple dozen of these. And we put holes in a lot of them for drainage. Some others we did not put holes in them. Instead, we put valves in the end of some of them. And we use those for hydroponics. But between the size that they are and the fact that they have these handles, they work great as a planting container. When they're full of soil, it's easy to pick them up, whether it be by these handles or these, and move them around in your greenhouse where they can get the best airflow, the best amount of sunshine for whatever type of plants you have in them. So I know that Sobeys here in Canada, as well as Walmart, they had a lot of these on the go a couple years ago during COVID. Also here, we no longer have plastic bags, so they promoted these for a while. They still have them. They're usually in on the back shelf now. But if you ask for them, I think we paid $6 or $7 each for them. But they last, they're tough, and they're the right size to pick up and move around. And they're deep enough for carrots and that to grow in as well. So a lot of people are using fish pans in that. These pans are a better size for the average gardener. Anyway, let's get back into picking some potatoes. So these here are the Irish cobblers. Now, from what we saw the other day, I do expect to have more damage in these from scab. They seem to be more susceptible to scab than the other potatoes. Now, we talked about how we're going to preserve our potatoes this year. Normally, we pick out all the good ones, which is usually most of the crop, and put them in the cellar for the winter. And they're good till April and May. But because we have so much damage with wireworms in some of these, we're going to take those, cut off all the damage, and then we're going to freeze dry them as a powder. We're going to blanch them and freeze dry them and then powder them. So they will become mashed potatoes down the road. You know, they have a lot less scab on them than what we looked at the other day. Now, when I took them out the other day to test them, to look at them, one of the things that I did, I took them from the corners of the beds. That's usually where the insects are going to be most of the time. That's the first place they'll come in. And by taking our sample from the corner, we should only be getting better than what we've sampled. And I think that's our 2025 potato harvest. Good harvest for the day. Take them on over there and up on the deck there. We'll get them laid out to dry. So that was a couple of days ago. We harvested our potatoes. They're all out of the ground now. And as you saw, it wasn't too bad for a small crop. Got a few weeds around our onions here. I expect the onions will be the next things to be harvested. We're going to get a few of these weeds out of the way here so we can get a better look at what we do have here. Some of our onions have grown really nice, large. We got some large ones there. Quite a few that are medium-sized onion, and then there's a few small ones over on that side. You know, I find it interesting that just like the carrots, our carrots over in this bed behind me here, one end of the bed is much smaller carrots than the rest. And I was thinking it was shade from the tree. Maybe they weren't getting so much sun. Not sure. But I see the same thing here. The onions that are over on that side are just not as big as what's on this side. Interesting. Maybe it is a matter of the nutrients, and maybe I just didn't get the same amount of nutrients mixed through. But either way, we've got some small ones, some medium ones, and some large ones. I'm sure they're all going to be good though. So I'm still leaving the onions alone until I see that their stalks are dying and drying up. Then I'll haul them up. I have a couple that I took up the other day for a meal. See here, here, here. We picked a few. Once they get like this here, you know there's no nutrients going up the stalk anymore. I'm going to say that they're done feeding at that point. I understand that that is the optimum time to pick them. I'm going to pull 2 or 3 carrots. We don't need any carrots in the house right now, but I do want to pick a couple just to see how they're doing, and I'll make them into snacks. There we go, look. It's a nice carrot. A little bit smaller. There's a big one there by the look of it. Yes, it is. So the carrots, they're doing pretty good. I don't see a need to take them up yet. They're growing fine. There's nothing hurting them in the ground. As I was saying when I was over by the onions, down here, the carrots seem to be much, much smaller. So I'm not sure if that's nutrient in the ground or what it is. All of our potatoes are out. So that's soil. I'll probably add some kelp to it and a few other things, and then till it in for the winter. These carrots up here, they're doing fine. All right, back to the greenhouse. We've got some peppers and tomatoes to carry inside. Okay, we do have quite the harvest, especially of our peppers and tomatoes. Now we have a few carrots to go with it. We're going to carry this stuff in the house. And we'll see you next time, right here in the greenhouse.